सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Song of the Sannyasin is one of the most beautiful writings of Swamiji, a poem which consists of 13 stanzas, which brings out the ideals of sannyas, monasticism. So monasticism as a way of life, it was very much there since ancient times. There is no time bound that at this point the monasticism has started. It is not like that. From time immemorial it is there in Vedas and everywhere the reference is there. But the monasticism as an institution, it is originated by the great Adi Shankara. That is, some people taking to monastic life as a community, staying, etc., etc. These are all regularized by, systematized by Adi Shankara. But the way of life as going against the current, when everyone was into the world, marrying, etc., etc., etc. But some people thought they took the reverse direction. We don't want the world. So that is monasticism, going against the current, going against the nature. So that is monasticism. And then at times that was renewed by various acharyas. Shankara originated. Before that, Buddha had this monastic as an institution, but because it became a new religion, it has not become a part of Hinduism as such. But Shankara, after that Shankara came after 500 or 600 years, he came and he made it into a clear institution. That is Shankara's contribution. So after that, there are several other acharyas. Like at one point of time, Madhusudana Saraswati came and he contributed certain things. That is, so like that, monastic ideal has evolved. Somebody has taken from here that evolution of monastic ideal in Hinduism. So that you will get some idea how in time it has evolved. And the finest or the most recent transformation or evolution is of Swami Vivekananda's. He made certain ideas. It is monasticism is fundamentally based on Yajana, Viraja and Pravrajana. These three principles. Yajana, some form of worship will be there. Then Viraja, renunciation, and Pravrajana, wandering life. These are the most fundamental things. But as time flows, these are all interpreted by what is Yajana. Shankara will have one meaning Swami Vivekananda will have one other meaning like that. Then Viraja, renunciation. What is really renunciation? Then Shankara will, in the Sadhana Panchakam and all, we will read that you should go away from the home, etc. That everything. Swamiji a little changed, modified according to the needs of the society. So Yajana, Viraja and Pravrajana. Then a monk is not expected to stay in a place more than 3 days. He has to be wandering. That Swami Vivekananda took it and modified in his own way. So like that, for a modern society, though the ideals remain same, its practicality is modified at different times by different acharyas. So Swami Vivekananda is, in the modern times, the best kind of monastic ideal, and which can be followed. That is why in the Ramakrishna ashramas you will see many monks, many monks with the ideal of renunciation. They join and they live because it is very much in tune with the modern life. So that is one point, and because of which only it inspired many, and especially this song of the Sannyasin of Swami Vivekananda, it inspired your guru, that Shivaya Subramanya Swami, that Hawaii Swami. He is also inspired by this only. As a student, he first, and his own guru, that Shivaya Subramanya Swami's guru is one Yogar Swami from Sri Lanka. You must have read, right? Yeah. That Yogar Swami has directly heard Swami Vivekananda. When Swami Vivekananda went to Sri Lanka, he has seen him and heard his lectures. That is how he was inspired, and he renounced and all. His samadhi is there where I visited in Sri Lanka. That Yogar Swami's samadhi is there. So after that, from Yogar Swami, he must have got the idea of Swami Vivekananda, that Shivaya Subramanya Swami. And he, in his life, if I remember, he very clearly says, as a student, he read the song of the Sannyasin and inspired, and then only he thought of renouncing, etc. So that is his inspiration. And after that, Swami Vivekananda, whoever has come as sannyasins, they are all inspired by him only. That is not with like the Rishikesh Sivananda Swami. He also has written a song of Sannyasin. I think that is a part of his famous book. There is a book by name Necessity for Sannyas by Rishikesh Swami Shivananda. It's a very beautiful book. He has written 2 books. One is not two books, plenty of books he has written. In these lines, one is Necessity for Brahmacharya. That is also very good book. And Necessity for Sannyasa. I think his song of Sannyasin is much bigger, and it is a part of that book, or as a separate one also, I don't remember. So he has written. And another great monk who is inspired by Swami Vivekananda is Swami Abhishektananda, who is a Frenchman. He's a Frenchman, and he was a Benedictine monk. He was already a Catholic Christian monk. But then he was inspired by that. He came here and he met Ramana Maharshi also. He has written a book, The Secrets of Arunachala. I have not read the book. I very much wanted to read, but then I could not get it. Secrets of Arunachala or Secret of Arunachala. He came and I met the Ramana Maharshi and stayed with him, and is much inspired by him. And he has seen several other. This Jnanananda Giri Swami, him also he met, that Abhishektananda. So he has written a beautiful book on sannyas, which I have read before my sannyas, The Further Shore. That is also not available. I very much wanted to have a book in those days. Probably it was a foreign edition, I don't remember, but then I had no money or anything, so I could not get The Further Shore, one book. And another one much later, I wanted to read was, especially after coming here, his book by the name The Secrets of Arunachala or Secret of Arunachala, something like that. Because he is a very good writer. That is further sure is a book on Sannyas. He has very beautifully done. And he himself is a kind of very evolved soul, there is no doubt about it. He lived here and finally he had a place near Kaveri, on the Kaveri or somewhere. He established his own ashram. And that Trichy, near Trichy. And then he lived there, passed away there only, I think. But he very frequently used to come here, even for writing the book. That book's introduction or somewhere, it is said several times came to Arunachala and stayed. So like that anyway, that ideal of sannyas has inspired many. And so today what we see as sannyas is the contribution of Swami Vivekananda, because the ancient ideals are much reinterpreted, not changed, reinterpreted, modified, that's all. Because the basic ideas of Yajana, Viraja and Pravrajana, that is very much intact. Only the external application he may have changed a little, because Ramakrishna monks never move around, wandering monk, every 3 days they cannot change. So all these things are changed, but the ideal remains intact. And Swami Vivekananda was in 1895, he was in that Thousand Island Park. Have you visited that place? No. Near New York. There for 7 weeks he stayed with some devotees, all Westerners. Among them one Funke was there, Mary Funke or somebody. She only left some notes about this song of the Sannyasin. She says that one afternoon he was talking about renunciation. And suddenly he was as if imbibed with zeal of renunciation. He suddenly left the class and went inside the room. And after 1 hour or something, he came out with this paper and 13 stanzas he has written. He has read them out. And then after 1 or 2 days, he quoted also from that poem. So like that. But then interesting thing is, he has not given the paper to anybody. He has not, and probably no one was interested. They did not ask anything. But then it went into great oblivion. Nobody knew what happened to that. And rather nobody knew that he has written such a poem. And because after the 7 weeks, all the students, about probably 15 or 16 were there. They all left and they dispersed in various this thing, and nobody bothered about it. Then later, much later, after 50 years or so, in 1947, when his room was, they started repairing the room in 1947. Then in one of this paper was found. That in his own handwriting it was there, and then it was published, etc., etc. So that is the history of this renunciation. It is so beautifully written. Every monastic ideal is very clearly explained, and there is a flow of beautiful this thing. Most of us have memorized as a monk, and there are many other. His disciple, there was one Swami Atmananda, his disciple, Swamiji's disciple. He lived a great life. Though he lived in Belur Mutt, he did not live in, much later only he came into this thing. Later days, he made his own hut near Swamiji's temple, and there only he lived. Very great renunciant. It's a beautiful incident in his life. He had a room in the Belur Mutt, and whenever Swamiji passes through his room, he will stand and look at the room a little, because Atmanandaji used to keep his room very clean and neat and tidy. Everything will be intact. So one day, Swamiji came inside, not only looking after, but he came inside and lied down on his cot for a while, because it was so neatly arranged, so clean. Swamiji felt like lying down on that for a while. He lied down and then he went. Then he passed away much later, and after several years. Then one day, another monk saw in Atmanandaji's room, the bed is well arranged, but Atmanandaji was lying on the ground. He could not understand. Then he asked him later, Swamiji, what is this? You have arranged everything, he arranges everything, but then he will lie down on the floor. Then he related the incident. This is what happened. One day Swamiji he admired my way of this thing. He came and lied down. Now I feel at any time he may come and lie down on that. So I am waiting for him. That is what he said. That is the most beautiful idea about this. Anyway, that Atmananda used to say, if you want to live really a monk's life, then read this song of the Sannyasin daily. Many other sadhus also have told. Premeshanandaji, he used to say, not only reading, every day you have to discuss with among you, 2-3 of you, sit and discuss this. It will do a lot of good. Like that, it is a very important thing. This is a book which were given after our sannyas. The Belur Math manager Swami presented this book to all. It is a song of the sannyas in Bengali and also in English. So, in every language it is translated and in every language it is sung also. This is what I told. The Kannada version is the most appreciated tune. Kannada is I think, it is written, translated by that great poet Kuvembu, and tune is given by our Purushothamanandaji. This is what I believe. But this tune is the most liked tune, because in several languages they have written. In every language it is sung also. But Kannada version is the one which is appreciated much. So that is Swami Vivekananda's Song of Sannyasin. So what is that worship? What is meant by wandering? What is meant by renunciation? These are interpreted by at various stages. They interpreted. So 5 stotras are like this, are told for a sannyasi, especially for a Ramakrishna Math sannyasi, for studying. That is, the first thing is Pratasmarana Stotram. That is 1. Then Sadhana Panchakam. 2. 3. There is one thing called Yati Panchakam. Yati Panchakam. Or it is called also Kaupina Panchakam. That is the third one. Then the fourth one is Nirvana Shatkam. That is commonly sung in it. Though the meaning is very high one, but then everybody sings it. Various tunes were given, even in the most modern tune also it is sung, Nirvana Shatkam. And especially this Jaggi Vasudev, Isha, they have sung it with lot of musical instruments and all. And the fifth one is the Song of the Sannyasin. These 5 are most importantly studied by the modern sannyasins, especially of the Ramakrishna order, Ramakrishna tradition. So this is the Song of the Sannyasin. There are 13 stanzas. We will see one by one. The first one, wake up the note, the song that had its birth far off, where worldly taint could never reach, in mountain caves and glades of forest deep, whose calm no sigh for lust or wealth or fame could ever dare to break, where rolled the stream of knowledge, truth, and bliss that follows both. Sing high that note, Sannyasin bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. So about the real sannyasi he says. So this paragraph gives a picture of real sannyas, its internal and external conditions. This is the main theme of the stanza. And Swamiji says, sing high, the note means song. Sing high that note, Om Tat Sat Om. That is the great mantra. That is the great note. What is it? What does it mean? Tat Sat. You are the truth. Tat means that. Sat means truth. So whenever we say Hari Om Tat Sat, God is truth. That is the idea. Rather, here truth doesn't mean the verbal truth, which we say. What do we mean by truth? That telling anything that I have seen this, not hiding it, tell it plainly as it is. That is called the truth. But this is not what here it is meant. Here it is the existential truth. God alone exists. He is the base of everything. That is the idea. That is a part of Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means existence. That is called the truth. What is truth? Truth means, now though we see as human beings, animals, and sun, moon, etc., in truth, God alone exists. Because of our deformity or because of our ignorance or darkness, we are seeing this manifold universe. What exists is God alone. That is what is meant by here Sat, that is truth. So when we say God is truth, that is not this verbal truth what we mean. That is here that Sat must be translated as existence. Existence is truth. That is the idea. So he says, always that should be sing high that note, last line. That line, that this idea you should again and again imprint in your mind. What is the idea? What idea? That is, God alone is truth. God alone exists. But I am seeing this. That is your fault. Some fault is there, rectify it. That is the idea. That is, God alone exists. But I am seeing man, I am seeing woman, I am seeing child, I am seeing forest, I am seeing. That is, something is wrong with you. That is the idea. So, again and again, assert that nature, that I am truth. All this manifold universe that I see in front of me has no real existence. So, sing high that note means deny the worldly existence again and again in your mind. That is the idea. That world should not attract you. World and worldly things. Whenever that attraction comes, you tell this is wrong. The whole thing is a wrong thing. So the famous example given is snake and rope. Rope is there, but we, because of the faint light, we see it as snake. And when we see it as a snake, we are afraid. We don't consider, we don't think that it is an apparent snake, it's an unreal snake, we don't think. We see very much it is a real snake, we are afraid, we get sweat, we started running, our heartbeat increases, everything happens. When we bring the light, then things vanish, then we are okay. So similarly, this world, anytime it drags you, you tend to like quarreling with somebody, fighting with somebody, all these things, then assert your real nature. These are all nothing. These are all not reality. These are all dream. So that is what sing high that note, Sannyasin bold. For this boldness is required. That is why Sannyasin bold, he says. To assert the truth of the universe and deny the actual true things which you are seeing. So that in the Periya Puranam, in the beginning itself, he says, that is called boldness. Not standing against a gun or standing against this and that, fighting with the 5 people, beating 7 people. That is not boldness. Real boldness is telling that this world is unreal. This world is not dragging. So that is what it requires the most high degree of boldness. So that is why Sannyasin bold. That a sannyasi alone can do that. Swami Vivekananda was there. He was arrested once, Swami Vivekananda. On his wandering days, he was arrested, thinking that he is a spy, that is a native person who is against this British government. He was arrested and put inside. Swamiji is unconcerned. He stood there. Then, after one day or something, they found him innocent. So they said, now you can go. Swamiji asked, can you allow me to stay here for some more days? Because I can get 3 times food I am taking, and without any disturbance I am able to think about God. So then that fellow thought this must be complete loose case. So he asked him to quit. So that is the way he has absolutely no fear or anything. That is Sannyasin Kal. So whenever we say Sannyasin, we should remember it is not the external wearing a geruva or staying in an ashrama. It is a mental condition. So that is very important, very necessary for an advancement in spiritual life. That is why as long as you hold on to world, as long as you are attracted by the world, then the truth is far distant from you. So these things we must practice. Those who want to be spiritual and in a bold way to face, not to disturb by anybody, etc. So for that, this ideal is very much required. So that is what sing high that note. Sing high that note means be established in that note, that God alone is real. This world I am living is unreal. Unreal means we have to take it as much it is required for our existence. That's all, not more than that. So now he says, but for that, wake up the note. It should be awakened in your mind. So it is there that you awaken. That is the first thing. So awakening is first thing that is required. Not to go behind the world, that I am a sannyasi, I am a renouncer. It is a needed step towards truth, attaining truth. So, holding on to the world and holding on to its unrealities and pleasures, etc., nobody can reach the truth. You can see all through, whether it is Western ideals here or anything, Christian priests and all, Sufi mystics, they all have renounced and gone. So renounced and going means that we should remember it is not wearing geruva and doing, but that internally we must be burned with that idea that these are all nothing, anytime it can go, anytime it can come. So that idea, first that awaken that idea, singing high that note, that is the last stanza, that is later. But before that, you be kindled with that idea. You be awakened, ignited with that idea. Wake up that note. What that note means? Song. What song? Here he says, two conditions which are of kind of indirect conditions, then one condition, direct condition. What is the indirect condition? He says first, the song that had its where worldly taint could never reach. That is the first indirect condition. So you should live in that way. The word taint means blemish. That a taint could never reach. Why? Because in such places only the song has first come out. Song had its birth. That means these great mantra like Om Tat Sat Om, these are all sung by great rishis. Where did they live? They did not live in the place where worldly things are there. They lived far off. Where that far off? He says, where? In mountain caves and glades of forest deep. That is the second. First condition is worldly taint could never reach, untouched by worldliness. What is worldliness? This desires only. Desire for all these enjoyments. That is the first condition. Second is where that idea can be realized and established in our mind, not by living with the world, but going away from the world, far off, in mountain caves and glades of forest deep. Mountain caves, glades, it's a very beautiful idea. In the forest, if you go very thick forest, Himalayan forests and all, one can see. You go there, the forest will be very deep and very thick, very big trees. Even sunlight could very with difficulty only it will pierce through, come down. In such places you will see the trees are very thickly grown, but in between here and there will be a small space. It will be very interesting to note, where it as if nature itself is providing a place for monks to stay, hermits to stay. There is a small hermitage, a small hut you can build. It will be in deep forest. I have seen in Haridwar also. As you go inside, they will be there, and the monks have built their huts there. In Tiruvannamalai forest also it should be there. That is called glade. So that will be a thick forest. It is inaccessible for the outsiders. But nature has provided such places in the thick forest. Some places, small pockets will be there. There you can just, one small hut you can erect, build, and you can stay there. So mountain caves or that glades where some huts can be built. That building that place means now fighting while living in the world is very difficult. Initially you should live independently in some lonely place. That is, Sri Ramakrishna says, milk, if you want to take butter, you keep the milk, nothing will happen. You will have to heat it, boil it, and then make it rest in a place. You put the curd, that culture, then you culture this thing, and then allow it to settle. That time you should not shake. If you shake that time, the curd will not be formed. So similarly, Swami Sri Ramakrishna again and again in his gospel he mentions this living in a lonely place, solitary place is very, very important. So that is what is mentioned. The first thing is you should live in a place where worldly taint could reach. No, I can live in a city, Bombay or Delhi or anywhere, I can live without touched by the world. That cannot happen. So first step is living. That's why all the monks and all in those days, they will just go to Himalayas. So like that, in mountain caves and glades of forest deep, where worldly taint could never reach. That is the first condition. Worldly taint could never reach. That is the ideal. But staying in such a place conducive to evoke that kind of an attitude, you should go into solitary life. That is one. Then number two is a kind of extension of that, whose calm no sigh for lust or wealth or fame could ever dare to break. Sigh means yearning, desire. Yeah, S-I-G-H, sigh means. So he who has no desire for lust, wealth or fame. Kamini Kanjan, Sri Ramakrishna says, in that Swamiji adds one more thing, fame, because his life he has seen what fame is. Because so much fame, he was a man of 30, hardly 30. Whole America is behind him at that time. So to come out of that untainted, it's a very this thing. So in one place Swami Vivekananda says, let me pass away as my master did. This Madhurananda Swami has written it for me. In my notes it is there. Let me pass away as my master did, untouched by woman, lust, gold and fame, the last being the most insidious. The last one is very difficult to cross. For Swamiji, even lust and the attraction for wealth can be easily tackled with, but the attraction for fame, it's very difficult. So here, the third one, Sri Ramakrishna would always say Kamini Kanchan. Swamiji here, Swamiji adds the third factor also, fame. So he says, no sigh for lust, wealth or fame. No sigh means no desire for. And his calmness is not broken by these things. He remains calm. What actually makes us run hither and thither? It is our desires. Because we desire, we want this, that, then we have to earn money. All these things. Now you can see here in Tiruvannamalai, the people, the begging people who are sitting there, it is their desire. Otherwise, they can lead a life here without any difficulty. Staying place is also there. Wherever they want, they can make. Here people are ready to help also. And food is given. But then why you are sitting and going on begging? Because the desires. You want to have something, some extra things, you want to drink and all those things are there. So, here the real sannyasi has no desire for lust, wealth or fame. That is one thing. These things will not break his calmness. He is ever established in calmness. And these are all indirect side of sannyas. That is, he should not be attracted by wealth, etc. No worldliness should be there. And he should live in a forest deep and caves, etc. Then the positive thing, most important thing is in his life, where rolled the stream of knowledge, truth and bliss that follows both. This truth, knowledge and bliss, knowledge, truth and bliss, that is the translation of Satchidananda. So, rolled the stream of Satchidananda should be continuously flowing from him. That is, he should be established in Satchidananda. Sat, the real existence. Chit, the real knowledge or consciousness. And Ananda. Wherever these two are there, Ananda, Swamiji says, follows. If real truth is there, that is, if he has established himself in that Sat, then Ananda comes. If he is established in consciousness, then the Ananda comes. So he should be in that. Sing high that note. Why should you sing? Because the people who have attained to that, they have sung already. That is, the song that had its birth. This song, Om Tat Sat Om, it is sung by great rishis who lived in caves and forests and things like that. It is a physical condition. What is the mental condition? No worldliness, no desire for lust, wealth or fame, and he is established in calmness. No desire can disturb him. And finally, in him, the river of Satchidananda is always flowing, where rolled the stream of. Stream means a river. Stream is a smaller kind of water passage, and the river is a bigger one. Here in him, what stream is flowing? Satchidananda. He is established in Sat, established in Chit, established in Ananda. He doesn't seek Ananda outside. in food or in any other kind of pleasure. He doesn't seek ananda outside. We go to the second song. Here, now in all the songs, one theme of sannyasa, one important idea for 4 songs. He takes up 4 important virtues or conditions of a sannyasa life. One song, one virtue. So the second song he takes going beyond duality, dvandvatita. Dvandvatita. Strike off thy fetters, bonds that bind thee down, of shining gold or darker, baser ore. Love, hate, good, bad, and all the dual throng. No slave is slave, caressed or whipped, not free. For fetters, though of gold, are not less strong to bind. Then off with them, Sannyasin bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. What do we say that is, you should not take world as your refuge and God as your refuge, because world can take us towards world and it will make us go around this birth-death cycle again and again. That is why you should not lean upon the world, it is said. And you should not be attached to the world. Attached to the world means world, its relations, its pleasures, everything. Worldly relations, etc. are worldly relations only, that cannot last. Now, whenever we tell about attachment, we always think about a darker side of it. We don't think some pleasant friendships, some pleasant things, etc. as good. Some relations are very good. When we say attachment, it always ends in pain. That we take as attachment. I am attached to this, because of which I am suffering. But there are certain things which may look very pleasant, very flowery. We think it's okay, it's fine. Having a wife, having a children, having some children. These are all fine things. But then it will end up in misery. But then first we will not think that these are also going to end in misery. There are certain things, initially it will be very pleasant, very beautiful. We don't consider. So we will say, a thief, we should not make friendship with a thief. A drunkard, we should not make a friendship with. But in truth, there will be some good friends. But because sannyasa is a higher ideal, it says even that is going to end in misery only. So no relations you should have. So dvandvatita means you should not even consider having good relations also. You should have nothing to do with the world. Swamiji gives an example. You are chained and tied to one post. Just because you are tied to a golden post with a golden chain, does it make any difference? You are tied to the post. You cannot go here and there. Your freedom is completely cut. One is tied with an iron chain to an iron post, and another is tied to a golden post with a golden chain. Is there any difference? Just because you are tied with a golden chain, it doesn't make the attachment. That is not true. That is also attachment. Only you can say I am attached with a golden thing. But both will not allow your freedom. You cannot go anywhere. So similarly, any attachment, whether it is good or bad, is to be given up, because it is going to drag you into the samsara, wheel of samsara. That is the theme of this song. Swamiji says, strike off thy fetters. Fetter is a chain, bonding chain. Strike off, break them. What fetters? Bonds that bind thee down. The bonds, they are, fetters means a chain which will make you bind to somewhere. Now, these chains, bonds, the fetters can be shining gold or darker, baser ore. Ore is you understand, right? Ore. Yeah. It may be darker, it may be very crude type of thing. With that, whether it is a chain made of that or shining gold. But bond is a bond, chain is a chain, tie is a tie. So he says, love, hate, good, bad, and all the dual throng, all these things. So in the ultimate sense, the love is also going to end up in hate only. That in worldly things we can see. The greatest friendship, yesterday we saw, they were the closest friends. They fought and separated, that's all. So, you should not encourage love, you should not encourage hatredness. Similarly, good, bad. Don't accumulate things because it is good. So it's very, we do not know how things get accumulated. That is why Swami Premanandaji, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, he had a bag in his room. Every day in the evening, he will put all his things in that, to take it once and then keep it back and then take out things and kept. So when asked, he said, it should be only this much only I should have. If anything extra is there, he will not accept. So that is the idea. That is a monk's ideal. He will not have anything extra. So all the dual throng is a bind again. Dual, these all dualities you should give up. Because it is good, I am accepting. Because he is lovable, I am loving him. All these things should not be. You should be established in God. That is the point. Not to be attracted by anything in the world just because it is good. You should not be attracted towards it. Good is good, all right, good. That's all. You be there, I be here. That's all. Why? Because know this, slave is slave. Slave remains slave whether he is tied with a golden chain or an iron chain. Just because he is tied with a golden chain, that doesn't make anything, any superior status of him. It is the same thing. Caressed or whipped, not free. He is tied with a golden chain and he is caressed. The owner comes and now and then, caress him and tell good words about you. Oh, you are wonderful. But he remains in the chain. And the next moment he can whip also. These all things will come and go. Don't be attracted by that. He is not free. Until the chain is broken and made free, until then he is a slave only. No, from tomorrow onwards I will tie you with a golden chain. That doesn't make any sense. So Swamiji says, for fetters though of gold are not less strong to bind. They are also strong. You cannot have your own life. Then off with them. So you don't have gold or darker baser, that is iron. Give up everything. Just because it is good, don't keep them. So be beyond these dualities. Good also should not attract you, bad also should not attract you. Here we will stop. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine.
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्